Well, boys, today, I almost got late today. I set the alarm on and everything, dude. Ladies and gentlemen, for those of you who don't know what the hell's going on, we've got a mouse. So this is a stream. This is supposed to be the 32,000 people are here right now on this stream. And like 100 people are watching this one right now. So we're about to see truth today. Are the UFOs real? Do we get actual disclosure? So I want to sit down. I'm about to see it, boys. Are we ready? Are we ready? Are you ready to see that? Aliens gonna invade Los Angeles? Probably. I mean, shit. You know, you never know. Oh my God, I've been debated. You haven't been debated. Listen, there's a good chance we've been lied. 10 seconds, okay? 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's go! You liars! Goddamn you!
Mr. Cabral says, as he writes these words, the UFO is emerging as a major topic of global importance. I can state that as a fact. Out there, I met a fellow who came in here all the way from Denmark to be here for this meeting. So this is huge. This is worldwide. I think we suspect what's going on.
Yeah, I swear to God, if they don't give anything juicy this time, I'm gonna be so fucking mad. He's literally hype-beasting this.
Sightings of their own.
Jesus Christ.
Those members, of course, some
dude's
of them
literally hype-beasting this shit right now.
But also, finally, I think that these three brave witnesses here. They took an oath.
They're hype-beasting it,
to uphold the Constitution.
Call this motherfucker DJ Khaled.
And we owe them a debt of gratitude.
The American public has a right to learn about technologies of unknown origins, non-human intelligence, and unexplainable phenomena. Those are not the words of a UFO Twitter account. Though that is a direct quote from Majority Leader Chuck Schumer, that the American public has a right to learn about technologies of unknown origins, non-human intelligence, and unexplainable
Dog, if we're going to bring up UFO
in an interview
Twitter,
with Fox News,
I can just close this right now.
John Radcliffe confirmed the U.S. government is aware of a lot more sightings of UAPs, and that they have not made that information.
I want to just talk about UAPs as it relates to what we're seeing in the pilots' interaction with UAPs. Particularly, Mr. Graves, one of the concerns that from members of this committee is this idea that pilots, there's no system to actually report UAPs and the stigma around.
Okay, we're going to do a little bit of pausing here, just because I want to actually talk about this a little bit, okay? So we're going to be a little bit desynchronized, but I do want to actually, like, put some thoughts out. So in the chat, obviously, there have been people who said, listen, no matter what, there are people who lose their job over this, right? Like, people will lose their jobs if they talk about UAPs because there's a stigma about it. I think the only thing that you can do is what? Like, have the DOD, like, have a web portal or some, like, anonymous portal. Like, I guess, I don't even know how you anonymously do it. It's like you probably given, like, your service number. You don't tell anybody. You just send it, like, maybe do it that way, I guess. I would have to imagine, like, because the way that I think about UAPs, it's like, okay, if you're getting like weird shit that you're seeing that's not registered in a flight plan, or like, you know, if there's a black cube flying through the air, you should be able to report that, just because it's an actual security risk or a safety risk for not just you, but commercial pilots and whatnot.
Pilots, and so can you just briefly, you mentioned my last question, and sometimes I know that you have also said some of these answers in the past, but we're trying to get them on the public record as well, which is really important. Mr. Gresh, finally, do you believe that our government is in possession of UAPs?
Absolutely, based on interviewing over 40 witnesses over 4 years.
And where?
Where? Yeah, where?
I know the exact locations, and those locations were provided to the Inspector General, and some of which to the intelligence committees. I actually had the people with the firsthand knowledge provide a protected disclosure to the Inspector General.
Thank you. And Mr. Chairman, I would just say that I think that these questions are important questions, and I look forward to being involved in the process to get those answered. I know there'll be a lot of questions from the members, so I yield back.
Thank you. We'll go to Mr. Birch.
Yeah, I know who they are. I already...
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Mr. Garcia. I would like to have you.
You didn't give it to us, though. Provide it to us.
On the reporting.
It was so lame.
We'll get together on that. Maybe you can be my.
I have location, sir. I have them. Really cool. Source? I've made it up.
Great questions.
Trust me, bro. He literally said source.
Mr.
Trust
Graves,
me, bro.
Again, I'd like to know, Mr. Favor, I noticed that in the Tic Tac video, it's Tic Tac, like the candy, not TikTok like the Chinese communist app. Yes, sir. I just want to make that
Dude, I love these
because my daughter corrected me on that and called me a boomer and said, "Hey, boomer," and I said, "No, baby, it's Tic Tac like the candy. You're gonna have to just look it up." And but now I would also like to say today is a day of many firsts. It's a
Tic Tac like the American candy, not TikTok like that commie spy.
My wife has put up with me for 9 years today. Today is my anniversary, so I want to tell my wife happy
Holy
anniversary, and that I
shit.
love her very much.
Oh man, I love these guys.
As she likes to say, this 9 years have been the best 2 years of her life. So, thank you. Mr. Favor, what,
Hold on, I gotta hear that again. That was don't hold on. We gotta hear that one again,
I need to
boys.
say,
It's very unfortunate, but investigate.
Hold on, we gotta hear
what
this.
I say in detail because there is an open whistleblower reprisal investigation on my behalf, and I don't want to compromise that investigation by providing anything that may help provide somebody information. But it was very brutal and very unfortunate, some of the tactics they used to hurt me both professionally and personally, to be quite frank. Yeah.
it's very unfortunate. As they say, when you're over the target, that's when they do the most firing at you. Do you have any personal knowledge of people who have been harmed or injured in efforts to cover up or conceal these extraterrestrial technology?
Yes. Personally.
Where?
Anyone been murdered? That
Oh
you
my
would think-
God.
That you know of or have heard of, I guess?
I have to be careful asking that question. I directed people with that knowledge to the appropriate authorities.
Maybe in a, if we could
Anybody but the Central Intelligence Agency.
get it done.
What the fuck?
confidential
Just tell us.
area of
That's the
skiff,
whole
we can talk
point.
about that.
You're
But
covering up the
unfortunately,
people that killed
we
actual
were
people
denied
delivering the
access
truth.
to
Oh
the
my
skiff.
god.
And that's
Oh my
very
god. I'm
unfortunate
gonna
in
fucking
this-
blow my
this
brains out,
scenario.
dude. I'm so fucking in Roblox, of course.
Mr. Favor, do you believe that you witnessed?
Mr. Grush, what about you? What was your experience after you came forward?
Well, it's only been about 2 months or so, so I guess my experience has been overwhelming support from former colleagues of mine that have privately messaged me, and I do appreciate that. But I do have knowledge of active planned reprisal activity against myself and other colleagues, and it's very, very upsetting to me.
Coming from where?
Yeah, where?
Certain senior
doing that?
leadership.
Who's bullying you?
At previous agencies I was associated with.
Well, who?
And that's all I'll
This is
say
the
publicly,
time.
but
Tell
I can
us.
provide more details in a closed environment.
What?
Well, I hope
Tell
you
us.
understand that there would be bipartisan rejection of any attempt to vilify, demonize, or engage in other reprisals against our witnesses and people who are telling the truth from their perspective.
Yeah, there were certain colleagues of mine that were brutally administratively attacked, and it actually makes me very upset as a leader to see that happen to other coworkers and actually superiors of mine over the last 3 years.
How do you account for that response? That seems like a bizarre response.
I call it administrative terrorism. That's their
Then expose it!
box, to silence
If your
people,
friends are getting
especially,
bullied, expose
the
it!
career government service cares
Oh my,
about
this guy's
the
a
career,
fucking
cares about
fed,
their
bro.
clearance, their reputation, to
The
climb
deep
ladder,
state is
and when
silencing us.
threaten
You have the
that,
option to expose it, so
flow
do it.
career path, a lot of people back off. But I'm here to represent those people. So.
And I'm not going to ask you to do it right now for time reasons, but you'd be able to sketch what was witnessed, correct? And have you seen that before on any other equipment and/or during your flight time?
I have not seen what they've described. This object was estimated to be almost the size of a football field, and I have not seen anything.
Ooh,
personally.
size of a football field.
Okay, and then
Holy
another
shit.
question on follow-up referencing the gimbal video Go Fast incident. Can you just clarify, because to our understanding, the footage was actually cut off at a certain point, but what happens at the end of that video, just for those Americans specifically there that are wanting to know about the rest of that footage?
Football field.
Certainly.
boys.
There was some uncertainty or instability with the object. It seemed to rock a bit, and that's the last.
What's the footage for
last
this
I had
again?
seen of the video. Much of the data that I would recommend be analyzed would consist of radar data that would provide precise kinematics on the object, as well as the fleet of objects that were operating nearby.
So the American public should know that corporations are putting their own reputations on the not the line, but ahead of the safety of the American people. And I think, would you agree with that statement?
It appears so.
Okay. And I guess this would be my last, oh, I'm out of time. I yield.
I would say yes. I would say that, starting in 2017, when it actually came out, it took that stigma away. I mean, I've talked to multiple senators who said prior to that, if you'd have mentioned UAP, you'd have been laughed off the hill. And now we're sitting here today for a public testimony on what's actually going on. I'm hoping that this curve will be more of an exponential, and we'll get more and more transparent to the level that we can.
You know what the thing is?
Okay,
I'm gonna pause it over here. So this whole UAP stuff got so popular again because Grush mentioned a few bombshells. He said, "Listen, okay, you're gonna have the government has like alien ships, okay, UAPs. They may even have bodies sitting around. All right, even during this question, they're talking about how if you go up against the three-letter agencies that I assume three-letter agencies that don't want you to expose anything, you're gonna get fucking killed. You're gonna get murdered or some shit. Like it's, I don't know, man. It's like, and now it seems like they're mostly talking about like drone technology that goes Mach 2 at least. It's like, and they're talking like I feel like this whole discussion is like, let's just talk about like other countries like specialized aircraft that is potentially touching our waters, right? Which is why Granny was talking about like the spy balloon, right? Like this is like it's not about the aliens. It's not. It's literally just quite about the UAPs. Like that's all it is. They just want to talk about drones. That's it. They're not like the aliens was just trying to get everyone excited. Okay, like trying to get everyone like focus onto it. That's it. Otherwise, this whole discussion might as well just be about like drone talking, and that's it. I don't know.
It's important.
The
Can
1930s.
you give me the names and
Okay.
titles of the people with direct firsthand knowledge and access to some of these crash retrieval programs, and maybe which facilities, military bases the recovered material would be in? And I know a lot of Congress talked about we're going to go to Area 51, and there's nothing there anymore anyway. It's just and we move like a glacier. And as soon as we announce it, I'm sure the moving vans would pull up. But please.
I can't discuss that publicly, but I did provide that information both to the Intel committees and the Inspector General.
And we could get that in the skiff if we were allowed to get in a skiff with you. Would that be probably what you would think?
Sure, if you had the appropriate accesses, yeah.
What special access programs cover this information, and how is it possible that they have evaded oversight for so long?
I do know the names. Once again, I can't discuss that publicly and how they've evaded oversight. In a closed setting, I can tell you the specific tradecraft used.
All right.
In a closed setting.
When do you think
I get
those
it.
programs
He's trying not to be arrested.
began, and who authorized them?
I do know a lot of that information, but that's something I can't discuss publicly because of
All right.
sensitivities.
If any of y'all want to jump in on any of this, you're more than welcome to. What level of security clearance is required to fully access these programs?
Well, anybody who has...
And I say that because myself, Representative Gates and Representative Luna were basically turned away at one point at Eglin. So please go right ahead.
Certainly difference between member access and, say, somebody like me, but anybody who has a TSSCI clearance and meets the eligibility criteria, the Access Adjudicative Authority should be able to grant you access. Yeah.
How much taxpayer money has been invested in these programs, to your knowledge? I mean, we know we audit the Pentagon every year, and I've been here 5 years, and they failed the dadgum thing every year. They lose over $1 billion a year, we think, and I was told the Department of Defense maybe 60% of their assets are unaccounted for, whatever the heck that means. In the public sector, you go to jail for that kind of crap. So tell me.
Yeah, I know when I'm $1 off of my DTS travel voucher, I get hammered, but it seems like it doesn't work the other way,
If you
right?
sell over
Yeah.
if you sell over $600 worth of stuff on eBay, now you get a call from the IRS. So please, what corporations?
I love how it's like nonpartisan. Of course.
Yeah, I don't know the specific metrics towards the end of your question. The specific corporations I did provide to the committees in specific divisions, and I spent 11 and a half hours with both Intel committees. So.
Okay, has there been an active U.S. government disinformation campaign to deny the existence of unidentified aerial phenomena, and if so, why?
I can't go beyond what I've already espoused publicly about that.
You know, the whole thing, this whole hearing is like, okay, guys, I can't talk about this. Plead the fifth. Yes, like, I think the good question is like, was there a private company involved, right? Like, oh, was Raytheon in it? Was Lockheed Martin involved into it? Was like, or okay, shouldn't that be a question that should be public record? Like, okay, imagine if we give like $1 billion to like Raytheon to like participate in like an alien cover-up. Shouldn't people know that? Aren't you as a taxpayer beholden to know if a private corporation is making a fuck ton of money off of literally working with the government on concealment? I don't know. But then again, I guess it's kind of like, I guess the same thing could be said, like, you remember when we worked with General Electric for the Stinger missiles, right? Like back during the 80s, you know, like we worked with private corporations like GE when they made like Stinger missiles, like air to surface, like anti-air missiles. So yeah, I guess you would hide it at that point, but it's just, I guess maybe you can't name the names and you can't name anybody because I feel like there should be like a middle ground. At least tell us the name of which private like defense company works on this project. Okay, maybe that could be announced. Okay, because then whatever.
For the record, if you were me, where would you look? Titles, programs, departments, regions, if you could just name anything. And I put that as an open question to the three of you.
I'd be happy to give you that in a closed environment. I can tell you specifically.
Thank you.
Well, I want to die, dude. I want to actually see the light of the Lord.
You have to know where to look. They're not going to divulge it to you because of the classification levels. But if you know where to look and who to talk to, which is exactly what Mr. Grush can point you, then you have them.
Okay. Mr. Graves?
Where? Give me just at least the direction.
Okay. Thank you very much. I yield back to the chair.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God.
Mr. Biggs?
Thanks, Mr. Chairman. I thank the witnesses for being here today.
I waited a whole fucking week for this, man. I actually waited. I cleared my.
Thank you so much for being here.
For this shit. I'm done. I cleared my whole
I want to
day.
get into now. Having said that, I'm going to take you to specific instances around the Phoenix Valley because that's where I live. In '97, we had the famous Phoenix light case. I don't know if any of you are familiar with that. There were two things that went along with that, and the explanation was military training range off Luke and the Barry Goldwater Range. Do you know anything different other than the official explanation of those lights?
Only what's in the public vernacular about it. That was outside the scope of my duties.
And if we wanted to, just my question along with my colleague from New York, Ms. Ocasio-Cortez, if we wanted to find out more about...
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Appreciate you guys coming out today, testifying. Look, I've been here for 6 months, and I'm pretty skeptical. I don't trust anything in this town. And
yeah, the government's corrupt. I don't
and I think
trust
that's
that
because
shit.
I'm
You're
from
right.
Missouri. You've got to show me, right? With that being said, there's been a lot of things that have been said in the public, Mr. Grush, and so I want to get down to, if we can, some specifics, right? So
Yes, thank you. Come on, Missouri.
at one
God
point,
bless.
you had said that there has been harmful activity or aggressive activity. Has any of the activity been aggressive, been hostile in your reports?
I know of multiple colleagues of mine that got physically injured. And the activity, and I got
by UAPs or by people within the federal government?
both.
Okay, so there has been activity by alien or non-human technology and or beings that has caused harm to humans.
I can't get into the specifics in an open environment. But
Oh my
at
God.
least the
Oh my God,
activity
I'm gonna
that
die.
I personally witnessed, and I have to be very careful here because they tell you never to acknowledge tradecraft, right? So what I personally witnessed, myself and my wife, was very disturbing.
Yeah, and what
Okay.
was disturbing about it?
One of my constituents actually sent this next question, and I figured I'd ask it since I had the same thought. You've said that the U.S. has intact spacecraft. You said that the government has alien bodies or alien
Thank you.
species. Have you seen the spacecraft?
I have to be careful to describe what I've seen firsthand and not in this environment, but I could answer that question behind closed doors. Yeah.
And have you seen any of the bodies?
That's something I've not witnessed myself.
Okay, and so with that being said, and the other statement that has been made that was intriguing to me it's intriguing because.
And then in terms of multidimensionality, that kind of thing, the framework that I'm familiar with, for example, is something called the holographic principle. It derives itself from general relativity and quantum mechanics, and that is, if you want to imagine a 3D object such as yourself casting a shadow onto a 2D surface, that's the holographic principle. So you can be projected, quasi-projected from higher dimensional space to lower dimensional. It's a scientific trope that you can actually cross, literally, as far as I understand, but there's probably guys with PhDs that we could probably argue about that.
But you have not seen any documentation that that's what's occurring?
Only a theoretical framework discussion, yes.
Okay. Okay. Occam's razor is
Dude, I love Missouri. Oh my God.
These aircraft,
that was some
have they been
4G
identified that they
schizo
are being produced by? Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I yield back.
Dude, I think I'm in love with Missouri. Holy shit. He just, out of the entire thing, David Grush has the most 4chan schizo answer. Projection technology. Fucking, dude, I thought I went through a fucking quantum mechanics seminar for 2 minutes. Holy shit, I'm buying a fucking house in Missouri. Oh my God, this man's fucking great. You know what it is? He came in, not with the tinfoil hat, he came in with the fucking, he came in like the Snopes fact checker, bro. Dog, I think Missouri's great. Dude, Missouri's awesome. What the hell? Dog. Dang! God damn, Missouri's sick! Oh. You know what? It's because of Missouri you guys are getting an actual dedicated video on this today. That was goated shit right there.
The first one, when you reported your experiences with a UAP, did any of you face any repercussions with your superiors, yes or no?
No.
No. I've actually never seen anything personally, believe it or not. So.
All right. And then...
Wait, you know, the whole time it was like, hold on, people get like shamed and shit out of their careers. We have a sample size of 3 for 3 who said they got no actual repercussions for discussing this. Interesting.
Do you believe there's an active disinformation campaign within our government to deny existence of UAPs, yes or no?
I don't have an answer to that.
As previously stated publicly, yes.
I think previously with like Project Blue Book, yes, but currently I don't speak for the United States government.
Okay, thank you. Do you believe that officials at the highest levels of our national security apparatus have unlawfully withheld information from Congress and subverted our oversight authority?
There are certain elected leaders that had more information that I'm not sure what they've shared with certain Gang of 8 members or et cetera, but certainly...
okay, hold on.
I would not be surprised.
Yeah, I mean, that's a fucking...
You've stated that the government is in possession of potentially non-human spacecraft. Based on your experience and extensive conversations with experts, do you believe our government has made contact with intelligent extraterrestrials?
Something I can't discuss in public setting.
Okay, I can't ask when you think this occurred. If you believe we have crashed craft, stated earlier, do we have the bodies of the pilots who piloted this craft?
As I've stated publicly already in my News Nation interview, Biologics came with some of these recoveries, yeah.
Were they, I guess, human or non-human biologics?
Non-human, and that was the assessment of people with direct knowledge on the program I talked to that are currently still on the program.
And was this documentary evidence, this video, photos, eyewitness? Like, how would that be determined?
The specific documentation I would have to talk to you in a skiff about.
Gotcha. Yeah. Okay. So, and you may or may not be able to answer my last question, and maybe we get into a skiff at the next hearing that we have, but who in the government, either what agency, sub-agency, what contractors, who should be called into the next hearing about UAPs, either in a public setting or even in a private setting? And you probably can't name names, but what agencies or organizations, contractors, et cetera, do we need to call in to get these questions answered, whether it's about funding, what programs are happening, and what's out there?
I can give you a specific cooperative and hostile witness list of specific individuals that were in those.
And how soon can we get that list?
I'm happy to provide that to you after the hearing.
Super, thank you. And I yield back.
Okay, now we have Mr. Langworthy. Is he here?
Is there any indication that these UAPs could be essentially collecting reconnaissance information? Mr. Graves?
Yes.
Mr. Grush?
Fair assessment, yeah.
Mr. Fravor?
Very possible.
Again, in the national security vein, is it possible that these UAPs would be probing our capabilities? Yes or no, Mr. Graves?
Yes.
Grush?
Yes.
Fravor?
Definitely.
Is it possible that these UAPs are testing for vulnerabilities in our current systems?
Watch.
Yes.
Hold on. Yes. Absolutely. Oh, no. Motherfucker, are you kidding me? Hell yeah.
Yes.
Possible.
Do you feel, based off of your experience and the information that you've been privy to, that these UAPs provide an existential threat to the national security of the United States? Mr. Graves?
Potentially.
Yes, sir, potentially.
Same answer, potentially.
Yeah, I'd say definitely, potentially.
We should nuke them motherfuckers straight out the sky. Get that Air Force up there. Possibly. Does the UFO potentially run on Linux? Maybe. Yeah, I believe they may have a Unix operating system out in space.
Mr. Graves and Fravor, in the event that your encounters had become hostile, would you have had the capability to defend yourself, your crew, your aircraft?
Absolutely not.
Sir?
No.
They ain't making it out of the. We ain't making it out of the tinfoil hat with this one, boys.
Is based off of the information that you've been privy to, is there any indication that these UAPs are interested in our nuclear technology and capabilities?
Yes.
By external observation, sure, that could be a fair assessment, yeah.
Yes.
Is there any indication that the Department of Energy is involved in UAP data collection and housing?
I don't have an answer.
I can't confirm or deny that in a public setting.
And could you do it in a secure setting?
Yes.
Mr. Fravor?
No, I don't know.
You ever heard of ricin? You ever heard of Venomous Agent X, VX Nerve Agent? I ain't safe even in a closed environment. Just say that. Just excite me. Titillate me.
Chairman, this is for all three of y'all, starting with Mr. Graves. Why did you come forward on this issue?
I came forward because I felt that my colleagues did not have a way to mitigate this safety threat, and I wanted to help them.
Okay.
I was trained as an aviation safety officer by the Navy, and this seemed, it just felt right. I felt like I had to help the folks that were still flying and dealing with this.
Mr. Grush?
Purely a sense of duty. I first swore an oath when I was a cadet 18 years ago, and I still uphold that even out of the uniform.
Commander?
I was pestered by a friend, and I asked why, and he said, you're the one person that they can't discredit, and you'll add credibility to the New York Times article. And so after about 6 times, I said, okay.
Honest.
Yeah.
I didn't even want to be here, bro, but my friend just wouldn't shut the fuck up. I was on my Discord one night. My homie was like, bro, you got to go out there. You got to talk about this shit. I didn't even want to go up there. I didn't even want to be there, okay? I had a good career, all right? I was chilling. And my homie was like, you got to talk about that motherfucking Tic Tac. And that's why I'm here, all right? That's why I'm here, motherfucker.
I want to thank everybody. We made history today. Mr. Chairman?
I'm tapped out, dude. I'm done. They ended it.
Quiet and humble, but if without them, this...
They ended it. Thank
Just to suffer. Every night, I can feel my leg and my arm, even my fingers. The body I've lost. The comrades I've lost won't stop hurting. It's like they're all still there. You feel it too, don't you? I'm gonna make them give back our past.
We made history today, boys. Dude. Okay, honest to God, chat, aside from Missouri, who else? If it wasn't for Missouri, this whole thing would be a waste of my time. That's the only guy that got close to the actual questions. That was fucking painful, dude. Missouri was the only group that got this shit going, man. 100%, bro. Okay, so here's the thing. Obviously, I knew he wasn't going to talk about underground military alien bases and all that shit and, like, you know, alien bodies. But, like, every single time that they wanted to ask a question, every single time, what did we get? Two phrases, okay? Either we can discuss that in a closed session, okay, cool. Or, you know, closed session, or fucking just can't talk about it here. We got a closed session. Maybe we'll be in a skiff. That was, my God, a painful 3 hours, man. I swear, dude. You know, the thing is, it's like, I get it. You know, he's obviously not going to be stating certain things because he can actually be arrested. But it's like, what is the point of even having this meeting if you're not going to discuss anything that we haven't already known? It honestly feels like what I just witnessed was like a waste of time. Like, it was a distraction is all it is. It was a distraction from something else. It had to be. It had to be a fucking distraction. Alright? It was the most nothing burger session that I've ever fucking seen, man. Did they admit to having extraterrestrial crafts? I mean, here's the thing. Every time he pled it was the 5th, that's basically like saying yes, right? Do you guys think? Like, okay, so every time that he pled the 5th, can we just agree that's basically saying the 6th, or sorry, the yes to a statement, right? So, at least from what I gathered here, okay, the only thing that makes it, okay, in a way, he kind of pretty much confirmed that UFOs exist, right? Like, we have extraterrestrial craft. That much we can at least sit down and say, yeah, we have something. So that's all that matters. We have UFOs, we have non-human craft, which I guess matters, okay? That's it.